Let's talk about those potential in the Green Bay Packers. Can the Green Bay Packers legitimately be a playoff threat? Can the Green Bay Packers actually go into the playoffs in the NFC side of things and upset some teams? Can they upset the Atlanta Falcons at the 4th seed? Can they upset the Philadelphia Eagles? Can they upset the Detroit Lions? Can they make it to the Super Bowl? When we look at the Green Bay Packers last season, when they went into Dallas Cowboys, AT&T Stadium in that wild card game, everybody pretty much counted out the Green Bay Packers. They shouldn't really be here, right? They shouldn't really, yeah, they played good last 4 games of the season, but they really shouldn't be here, right? Well, guess what? Jordan Love made his money in that game. Jordan Love went into Dallas Cowboys Stadium, AT&T Stadium, and they waxed the floor with the Dallas Cowboys. They ran all over them. The defense played great. Jordan Love played even better. If the playoffs were to start today, the Green Bay Packers would be the 6th seed, and they play the 3rd seed in the Arizona Cardinals. Guess what? They've already beaten the Arizona Cardinals. And when you look at other playoff teams, they already played the Minnesota Vikings. They should have beaten the Minnesota Vikings. They played the Eagles back in week 1 in Brazil. They lost that game, but they battled. They battled versus the Lions when their quarterback was at 50% at that. He was terribly injured like in that game. But when you look at playoff threats, guys, the Green Bay Packers are a team you do not want to see them get hot the last 3 weeks of the season. You do not want to see them get on a 3-game tear the last 3 games of the season because they can make some noise in the playoffs. They can upset the Cardinals. They already have. They can beat the Falcons. They can probably dominate the Falcons. Let's just be honest. When you look beyond that point, right? When you're looking at a potential 1 seed or a 2 seed that they might play. They've already played the Eagles. They can probably beat the Eagles. The Eagles are a really, really good team, but they battled the Eagles. Now, the Eagles are a lot better team, so to be determined, right? But then they would have had the advantage over the Detroit Lions as well. It is hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. Yes, I'm saying right now the Detroit Lions will beat the Green Bay Packers at home in, I think it's like week 15 or whatever it is, right? 2-0, season sweep of the Green Bay Packers. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. It is what it is. It is what it is. The Green Bay Packers, guys, are a team you do not want to see in the playoffs. The Green Bay Packers are a team that if they can get hot, if they win their last 3 games of the season over the Saints, at Vikings, at Bears, and they play not flawless, but if they play a complete game, if they play well, and they're getting hot, and the mojo is going, look out, baby! Look out. Because it is coming. It is coming. So, guys, if you think that the Green Bay Packers will not make a threat in the playoffs, let me know. If you guys think the Green Bay Packers can be a threat in the playoffs, let me know. Let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion about it. Casey Morgan's in the chat. What's up, Casey? Fellow Pigskin pundit as well. He says, I'm going with Green Bay for this one. Versus the 49ers? Probably a good choice. Probably a safe choice, right? At home versus the 49ers. 1 o'clock. Actually, it's a 4 o'clock game. Should be a pretty good game. James says Green Bay needs it because my Dolphins are going to go to their house on Thanksgiving night and whooping that ass, baby. Fins up, fins up, fins up. Okay, I see you. I see you. John says if they make it out in the first round. John says no threat to the playoffs whatsoever. They can make the playoffs. They could be the Cinderella story. They could be all that stuff, but they're going to go into Arizona Cardinals and they're going to get ass waxed with them. Ass waxed with them. John says the Packers are overhyped due to their play last year. I personally was a firm believer. I like the Packers going into this season, honestly, John. This was a team that I thought could actually challenge the Detroit Lions for that NFC North title. The hype around the Packers have died off quite a bit, right? But we realize that the Packers are still 7-3 on the season. We still realize that they've lost to some of the top teams in the NFC. They've lost to the Eagles and Vikings and Lions. They are beating teams that they're supposed to. There are 3 steps in the NFL realm, right? You are supposed to protect your house. You are supposed to beat a division rival and be healthy going into the playoffs. So far, they've lost to their division rivals twice. They can right the ship toward the end of the season. But I think a lot of the hype around the Green Bay Packers has died off because of the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of that hype was transferred from Wisconsin over to Minnesota, right? From green to purple. So I don't think they're overhyped. I think they're kind of flying under the radar right now, and they're going to shock some people when they do beat the 49ers, and then they battle versus the Lions. I believe that is a Monday Night Football game at the Detroit. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a real test for them the next 3 weeks. Derek says Arizona would have the home field advantage. And I believe, Derek, well, you are correct. They would be playing at Arizona. But I believe most people call Phoenix, Arizona, Lambeau West. Green Bay does not lose at Lambeau West. So, say what it is. John said, what happened to the feed? I lost it. I'm not for sure. Not for sure, man. I'm still getting comments from Facebook, so I'd assume it's still working. So I don't know, John. I don't know. Pepe says the Niners take this mostly because I need McCaffrey to go off on my fantasy league. Fantasy football is not a topic of choice right now, Pepe. Let's move along. I'm like 3-9 right now. I'm not doing very good in fantasy football this season. Casey Morgan says, I can see Green Bay making the wild card and doing an upset, but then losing after that. So divisional round loss for the Green Bay Packers. That probably seems most favorable because if they were to upset, let's say the playoffs were to start today, Arizona Cardinals in the third seed, right? So then the number 1 seed, which would be the Detroit Lions, would play the lowest remaining seed, which in theory would be the Green Bay Packers. Divisional opponent at home. They would definitely have the upper hand, 100%. NFC is bummed this year. A few top dogs. And I think the NFC is definitely top heavy, right? They have those 2 outliers like they have the Lions and they have the Eagles. But the NFC is better than the AFC. The AFC is all convoluted, right? Anybody from 1 to 7 can make the Super Bowl, in my opinion. In the NFC, probably only the top 2 teams have the favoritism, right? And the Eagles and Lions. So I wouldn't say they're bum, but they are not as challenged as the AFC. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I don't think they're as challenged. But when we look at the